Okay guys, a lot has happened since the last time I checked in. A lot of you have messaged me asking if I was doing okay. Some of you even went as far as sending me your phone numbers and really reaching out. I thank you for that. We have not encountered Rose since the last time. Also, we decided to move. I got a decent job on the south of the US, and we thought it'd be a good idea to get out of here. My father did go see the priest who baptized me, and the story actually became more convoluted, if you can call it that. Anyway, I got baptized in a church called Ostrich in Montenegro. Here's a picture of it. I don't believe in God in any kind of way, but this church is amazing. It was built a long time ago, when the Turkish Empire came to take over. People took it stone by stone and moved it up the mountain where the Turks couldn't reach it. It is a magnificent building. Many people of different religions, including Muslims and Buddhists, come to that church in search of spiritual help. That is the only place I ever felt something more than just my non-belief of reality. So when I was 6, my dad decided to baptize me there. Neither of my parents are particularly religious, but my dad follows traditions, and baptizing kids is one of them. He decided that baptism should be performed at the most famous church in Balkans, Ostrich. You had to schedule it, and demand was so high that I was going to do it with other kids as a part of a group baptism. When we arrived, and disappointment awaited. At least for my dad, I couldn't give any less fucks. At the entrance of the church, the priest stopped me. "You can't go in." He physically stopped me with his hand. Priests in our country wear long black robes and rock long beards, so I was standing there being held by this Batman-looking dude. My dad jumped in front of me and asked what the problem was. "You, my child. I know you. I baptized you, I can tell." He did baptize him 20 years ago or so. "But your son, he cannot go in here." "And why is that?" my dad asked, shocked. "I can't really tell you, but it is better for us all if he went elsewhere." "But why?" "Son, please leave, but remember this. Don't dare not baptize him. You have to." "I don't understand." "Nor will you ever. Just do it." So my dad took my hand and walked away, not knowing what the fuck was going on. On our way home, he was trying to figure out what had happened. He thought that maybe I messed something up, like peed behind the church or something, which sounded like my kind of thing, but I didn't do it. When we got home, we got a phone call. It was from that priest. He wanted us to come back. Right away, it was a 35-minute ride back. My dad and I were more confused than ever. We arrived at the church, and all the previous baptisms had been performed already. It was only the 3 of us there. "I decided to baptize your son despite..." "Despite what?" my dad asked curiously. "I could not tell you, but it's important we do it fast." So we did. I walked in a circle and he went on with his prayers, spraying holy water on me. I remember getting bored as hell right before he finally finished. He told us to go away and not to come back unless something out of the ordinary happened to me. My dad was just glad we got it done. That was 20 years ago. My dad went back there a few days ago. The priest was still alive, although retired. He still lived on the church grounds. It took some talking into and donations for him to speak up. I got baptized on February 13th, 1992. On the night before my baptism, the priest was handling his sheep. Back in the day, priests raised sheep and cows and lived mostly off that. When he saw a figure in the dark, it was strange for someone to stand there that late, especially because visits were over and all the clerical staff was already in their designated housing. "Hey, who is that?" the priest yelled. "Come, Father," the woman's voice spoke calmly. The priest explained that from time to time he'd get visits from desperate people, begging for blessings or shelter, so he went ahead to see what the woman wanted. He said that when he came there, he saw a woman in white, standing, not moving. She was standing among sheep, but they formed a circle around her, almost like a safe distance. The priest claims that he immediately felt something unholy. "What do you want?" he asked in a defensive, aggressive voice. At that point, he knew it wasn't a peaceful visitor he was talking to. Tomorrow you will encounter a boy, just like any other. His name will be Milos. You won't baptize him." The priest told my father that he performed several exorcisms before, but he was never actually scared. This time, he felt unsafe. "You and your kind have no place on this holy ground." "My kind, Father? What would that be?" "You demons." His voice was cracking in fear. She laughed. "Demons? I realize you're a man of cloth, but believing in demons? That takes a lot of faith, Father." "I want you to leave now." "Listen to me, you petty priest. I know who you are. I know what you think. I know you feel my strength. Deny my request, and you'll never sleep in peace again." Then she left. The rest of the story you know. He refused to baptize me, then he changed his mind. Apparently, he told my dad that he'd rather be tormented by an unholy spirit than deny God's child a chance to connect to Jesus. He also said that he has been paying for it since the day he baptized me. Every night for 2 weeks after he baptized me, he has been seeing a woman in white appear at his window. She'd just stand there, looking at him with hand tilted. Every night for 2 weeks after he baptized me, he'd been seeing a woman in white appear at his window. She'd just stand there, looking at him with head tilted. No smile, though. Only a face of anger. He'd say many prayers, but it didn't seem to affect her. Then his sheep started dying. There were no wolf marks, no sign of force, just laying dead. Finally, number of exorcisms skyrocketed. He claims that this was a direct consequence of him disobeying the woman's orders. He even showed an exorcism videotape they started filming in the chapel in the mid-90s to my dad. My dad says it was unreal. Apparently a 13-year-old girl came in the chapel with her mom. Her mom was sobbing in tears, begging for help. The priest started performing his ritual when the little girl started throwing stuff around. The priest called 2 young guys who came in to pray that day and asked them to hold her. She kept walking in circles with 2 grown men holding her, and right before she fell to her knees, she said, "You shouldn't have done it, Father." She was cured. My dad had more than enough of information thrown at him, but he wanted to know what this woman was. The priest said that he originally thought it was a demon, but a lack of prayer efficiency and a freedom of behavior on holy ground was concerning. He then thought it was some sort of occult, witchcraft maybe? The problem is, she had been visiting him on February 13th every year. All the livestock he'd have would die on that day. Any sick person coming for help to the church that day would get worse. Number of possessed people would skyrocket abnormally on the 13th. And at the end of the day, she'd come to the window, no matter where he was. He tried talking to her many times, asking what or who she was. She never responded. She never aged. The priest was finally broken down to the point where he quit. He remained living at the grounds, but he couldn't do his job anymore. He lost faith. He claimed that the God should have protected him. My dad says he may be mentally unstable at this point. He was mentioning something about Marana, whatever that meant. It appears to be a goddess of death in some cultures, but I really think this man has gone mad. I think that this whole story was a jabber of an old man gone senile. Goddesses? Demons? Hardly. That would be the disappointing story of my baptism. I've not had any encounters with any of them since the last time. I'm moving away, hoping it helps. I also decided this. If I encounter them again, I'm taking the orange. I can't go on like this forever. I just can't.